Part 1. You will hear a travel agent giving information to a client about a family holiday package. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. Now listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5. Hi, it's wonderful to see you. I hear you're planning.
Actually, both children have just finished the school year, and we thought it might be a good opportunity to go away together before things get busy again.
That's very common this time of year. A lot of families want something relaxing but still well organized. One option that might suit you is our family discovery package. It's been especially popular with parents who want structure for the children but a bit of freedom for themselves.
Okay. That does sound like what we're looking for. How does it work when you first arrive?
Well, on the first morning before any activities begin, the children take part in a short orientation. It's nothing too formal, but it introduces them to the staff, explains the daily routine, and goes over some basic safety points.
Right. I imagine that helps them feel more comfortable.
Exactly. Often parents tell us their children settle much faster after that. Now, another thing that makes the package quite convenient is that all meals are included in the overall cost.
All of them?
Yes, that's right. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. Snacks are available too, but the main meals are all covered, which means families don't have to plan ahead or worry about finding places to eat.
Oh, that would definitely reduce a lot of stress.
That's what we aim for. While the children are taking part in activities, they are always supervised. We have trained staff on duty at all times, and parents are informed where the children will be throughout the day.
That's reassuring. We wouldn't be comfortable otherwise.
Of course, during those activity sessions, parents are free to do their own thing, relax by the pool, read, or explore nearby areas. Some parents choose to stay close, others prefer to take advantage of the free time.
It's nice to have that option.
One final practical point I should mention is that families are required to arrange their own travel insurance before departure. It's a standard condition, but we always like to mention it early so there are no surprises later.
Yes, that's fine. We normally organize that anyway.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. And answer questions 6 to 10. Right, let me go through the weekly schedule in more detail, because that usually helps families imagine how the holiday actually feels day by day.
Yes, I'd appreciate that. I want to get a clear picture of how busy it is.
Well, to begin with, families normally arrive on the first day in the morning. After checking in, there's a relaxed welcome tour so everyone can get familiar with the resort, followed by a short safety briefing.
Okay, that sounds manageable.
During the rest of the week, the main water activity included in the package is snorkeling. It's very popular with children and parents alike, and instructors are always present.
My kids haven't tried that before, but they've been curious about it.
Most beginners feel the same way at
Curious about it.
Most beginners feel the same way at first. In the afternoons, the children usually take part in organized games. These change daily, so it doesn't feel repetitive, and they're designed to suit different ages.
That's good. They get bored easily if things repeat too much. They get bored easily if things repeat too much.
Yes, we've learnt that over the years. Children's activities run almost every day, but there's no organized program on Friday. That day is intentionally left free, so families can spend time together or rest.
Oh, I actually like that idea, not having a fixed schedule every single day.
Exactly. And just to mention one last incentive, families who book the full 7-day stay receive a complimentary boat trip at the end of the week.
Well, that definitely makes the full week more appealing.
Part 2. You will hear a talk about an environmental competition at a community centre. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 15.
Welcome everyone. My name's Helen Carter and I'm our annual Green Futures Challenge, which, as in previous years, runs alongside our Spring Awareness program. Each year, the challenge focuses on a particular issue related to environmental responsibility, and this year's theme was encouraging sustainable habits in everyday life. Participants were invited to design practical projects showing how small changes could reduce environmental impact within the local community. We received an impressive number of entries from colleges and community groups, which is particularly encouraging as it shows growing interest among young adults. Before I go any further, I'd like to give you a few details about how the competition worked. The challenge was open to teams of young people aged 16 to 21 on the closing date, which was 2 April. While developing their projects, participants were allowed to attend free workshops at the centre and seek advice from environmental experts, but they were not permitted to purchase any new materials for their displays. From all the entries, 6 finalist projects were shortlisted. Members of the public were then invited to view the displays and vote for their favourites over a 2-week period. Since the finalists were announced, visitor numbers to the centre have increased by almost 40%, which has exceeded our expectations. The first prize was awarded to a team of 5 students from Northfield College who created an interactive display comparing household waste habits from the past and present. They recorded interviews with residents under 25 and those over 60, asking about recycling habits and attitudes toward waste reduction. Their project, titled "Then We Threw It Away, Now We Think Twice," impressed both the judges and the public. And the second prize goes to
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 16 to 20. Questions 16 to 20.
Before we move on to the award ceremony, I'd like to highlight some of the video interviews included in the winning project, which many visitors have found both insightful and entertaining. One section focuses on old reusable glass bottles, which older participants remembered returning to shops for a deposit. They felt this system was sensible and surprisingly modern in its thinking. Younger viewers were fascinated by how common this practice once was. Another display compares traditional paper shopping bags with modern reusable fabric bags. Older interviewees appreciated the durability of today's bags, but admitted they often forgot to bring them along. The project also features early water-saving devices, such as basic tap restrictors. Many older residents said these were effective, but not especially appealing to use. In contrast, modern smart water meters were described as far more practical. A particularly popular segment compares energy-efficient LED lighting with older incandescent bulbs. Older participants described LEDs as impressive and far more efficient than anything they had used before. Finally, the exhibit shows early bicycles used for commuting alongside modern electric bikes. Older interviewees admired how solid the older bicycles were, but they agreed the newer ones were much easier to use, especially over long distances.
Part 3. You will hear two students discussing an academic module. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
Hi Daniel, did you manage to finish reviewing the material for the cognitive psychology module?
I did eventually. At first I thought theoretical, but there's far more practical application than I expected.
I felt the same, especially with the case studies. We're expected to analyse them in much more depth than last semester.
Exactly. I found the early lectures manageable, but once we moved on to memory experiments, things became more demanding.
Was that because of the terminology? Was that because of the terminology or the experimental design?
Mostly the design. Interpreting the results wasn't too bad, but understanding why certain methods were chosen took time.
The lecturer did explain that, though. I remember she stressed the importance of reliability.
True, but I still had to re-watch that lecture online. The pace was a bit fast in class.
Same here. Have you started writing the literature review yet?
Yes, but I'm not happy with it. I've summarized too many sources without comparing them properly.
That's exactly what I'm worried about. We're supposed to be critical, not just descriptive.
Right, and I also realize my references are slightly outdated, so I'll need to replace some of them.
Did you check the assessment criteria carefully?
I did eventually. I nearly missed the part about linking the theory directly to real-world applications.
Oh, that's important. I think a lot of students overlook that.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30.
Questions 26 to 30. We also need to prepare for the final presentation. Have you thought about how you're going to structure yours?
Yes, I'm planning to begin with a brief overview of the key theories and then move on to explaining my experiment.
That sounds sensible. I was thinking of starting with a real-life example to engage the audience.
That could work as long as it doesn't take up too much time.
True. I'm also not sure how much statistical detail we're expected to include.
I'd keep it to a minimum, just enough to show that you understand the analysis.
What about
Minimum, just enough to show that you understand the analysis.
What about visual aids?
Slides are essential, but I'm trying to avoid having too much text. Graphs should be more effective.
I agree. I considered using video clips from experiments, but I'm worried they might distract the audience.
Probably, the tutor said that clarity is more important than creativity in this presentation.
Are you planning to rehearse it?
Definitely. Timing is crucial, and I don't want to rush the conclusion.
Same here. I also want to prepare answers in case the audience asks questions. about the methodology.
Good idea. That's often where marks are gained or lost.
Part 4. You will hear a talk about innovation in urban farming. You have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now, listen carefully.
2 decades and is increasingly viewed as a solution to future food security challenges. Urban farming refers to the production of food within urban and suburban environments, rather than on large rural farms. This can include rooftop gardens, indoor growing facilities, and even underground farms. As the global population becomes more urbanized, cities are being forced to reconsider how and where food is produced. One of the most important drivers behind innovation in this field is the shortage of agricultural land. In many regions, fertile farmland is being lost to urban expansion, industrial development, and climate-related degradation. As a result, traditional farming methods alone are no longer sufficient to meet demand. Another key factor is the rapid advancement of digital technology. Modern urban farms rely heavily on sensors, automation, and data-driven systems to monitor plant growth. These technologies allow farmers to control temperature, humidity, and nutrient delivery with a high degree of precision, leading to higher yields and reduced waste. In addition, growing concern for environmental sustainability has encouraged both consumers and policymakers to support innovative farming solutions. Locally produced food reduces transportation emissions and can significantly lower the carbon footprint associated with food supply chains. One of the most well-known innovations in this area is vertical farming. In this system, crops are grown in stacked layers, often inside specially designed buildings. Because these farms operate indoors, they depend on artificial lighting, most commonly LED lights, which can be adjusted to suit different stages of plant growth. Another significant development is hydroponic farming, a technique that allows plants to grow without soil. Instead, nutrients are delivered directly through water. This approach can reduce water consumption by up to 90% compared to conventional agriculture, making it particularly suitable for regions facing water shortages. Despite these advantages, urban farming still faces several challenges. The most serious of these is the initial investment required to establish advanced facilities. High setup and energy costs can make urban farming financially inaccessible for smaller producers, limiting its widespread adoption. Nevertheless, continued innovation and falling technology costs suggest that urban farming will play an increasingly important role in feeding future urban populations.